Joe and I decided to put this tour together because we felt our message was important. And it is a collective message because Joe's got the guts to stand up to racism, probably as good as any white guy I know.
Well, listen, I'm tired of conservatives ducking their heads and tucking their tails and running when the race card's thrown out there. I won't be afraid. I don't have to defend myself. My actions speak for me. And, I'm not going to be ashamed or bullied by the liberal press. And I ask you, the American people, to stop being bullied as well.
We started our tour here in Richmond, Virginia. The guys from Media Research Center were nice enough to come down and film us, and we had a great day. Started out at 5:30 in the morning with me schooling Joe in basketball. We went to have breakfast. I don't know what it is and why we want to make that such a big thing that you call me an African American. I'm not. To me, that's just it's one of those things that political correctness says you got to do this because I feel like we're being led. We talked about it last night. Things like social justice. There's no social justice. There's justice and injustice. So I look at these are little bitty things, and I know that they sound petty, but what I've noticed is they add up.
Herman Cain says he's an American black conservative. The ABCs of Herman Cain. You guys are Americans.
I joke about it and say, I go to, my brother worked for Xerox, and I said, Larry, did they ever ask you, do you have the African American tone?
Yes.
Because whites are so afraid to say black.
Here's one thing I want to bring up. I've been flying the Confederate flag on my wall ever since I was always have. It has nothing to do with slavery. Right. Anybody that has any kind of pride where they live, I grew up in Florida, Louisiana, I always thought it was cool. Dukes Hazzard had it on their car, it means nothing to slavery to me. What do you guys think about that?
To us, and you gotta let you guys talk. To us, it means you want the South to rise again. To us, for the South to rise again means for us to be back where we started from, is slavery.
When did you people? Remember when Ross Perot said "you people" and he was like, I was just saying, Jesus, but I was just saying you people figuratively, not you black people.
The white Democrats who keep African American people in the visionary and are worse than anybody. I'd take a George Bush any day.
After breakfast, where did we go? Did we go to the Margaret?
Maggie Walker.
Maggie Walker, the first black lady to be the CEO of a bank, and she was it was just an amazing tour. If you ever get to Richmond, yeah, amazing woman. You got to get down here and you got to see that. I don't believe America is racist. I believe there are racists in America, but for the most part, they're not. And the Tea Party and good folks like yourselves get a bad rap. I'm looking at all the people of color that are here. Friends of mine, now my newly formed friends, and I think to myself, how can these people possibly think this? So long story short, I talked to Joe, and Joe's one of the few political guys that has the guts, to say that, he's not a racist, and he's going to get on the road, and he's not afraid to say this. So we teamed up, made the two Nekkid heads, and the rest is history.
Kevin's a little bit more engaging than I am. No, truly. I asked a question. I was doing my job as an American. I believe Americans have a responsibility. You were blessed to be born in this country. You have a responsibility. You have a civic duty. And that civic duty is to know what's going on around you. I asked Barack Obama a question because that was my job as an American. I didn't ask for any other reason other than that was my job.
Is there any one particular thing that stood out for either of you on this tour, Bubba, that surprised you more than anything?
Well, we just started the tour. So the question was, is there any one thing that stood out?
So that question is it.
About the tour, right?
Okay.
Right. About the tour. The thing that has stood out for me the most is that Joe can actually shoot basketball. And I can't. Now see, y'all were thinking the other way. You're a bunch of racists. No, I'm kidding.
What's going on in other
So the question is, what sort of inroads are we seeing in the minority community? Overall, I will tell you it's not been good. It's been more mistakes being made by the present administration that's dropped the numbers. But the good news there is that you've seen an 11% decline in the black community in terms of this present administration. You've seen a 19% decline in the Latino community, and you've seen a 13% shift. Now these are numbers pre-Osama. Okay, 13% shift of the left-leaning that's now back to right-leaning. So the question is, how do you capitalize on that? And I don't see any overall effort. But what I will tell you is this, and I think we talked about this when we were doing the initial call. Yeah. So you look at an event like this, we're having it at a great restaurant. It appears to be a black-owned restaurant. I'm just guessing. Yeah. All right. But we could have chosen any restaurant we want, right? And we chose a black-owned restaurant. And I'm not doing the numbers count because that's what liberals do. You know, it was 13.3% Hispanic. You know, but whatever our numbers are, I can honestly look out on this crowd and say the majority of you are white, and you come to this, black restaurant. I don't say African American, but you come to this black-owned restaurant. I'm guessing, but I think it is Southern. You know, Southern's good, and you've spent your money. All right, and what you need to do is you need to figure out how much you spent, and you need to say, this is our contribution. And it's not a patronizing thing like we're doing this to assuage guilt. No, the food was delicious. I loved it. Thank you, by the way. And imagine, the 3,000 Tea Party organizations doing this around the country. And I don't know what we spent here, but it was a lot of money. And on a night that probably isn't their best night. And so if you spend a little time getting to know these folks and getting to know the owners and the waitresses and things like that, they're not going to, and not in good conscience, be able to say bad things about you.
Well, you guys can embrace social issues, or not social issues, but social programs. Go with Habitat Humanity as a group, say, hey, listen, we'd like to go out and help. I mean, there's ways you can get involved in your community, and actions speak louder than words. It doesn't have to be a picture-taking opportunity. It will become one because media, what's this Tea Party doing in this part of town? Things like that. There's a lot of things you guys can do. Put your heads together. If you really want to embrace and work with minorities and let them get to know you, and the same with you get to know them, you guys are going to forge some friendships. They're going to find out that you're not these evil white Republicans that want to destroy the world and eat their babies. I was in Pittsburgh, and I showed up to an event to speak about the Employee Free Choice Act. And union members were hired to come protest me. I wasn't paying attention, smoking my cigarette, walking along, and I walked into a crowd thinking it was the crowd. It was the union guys, 300 strong. And I start hearing, that's Joe the plumber, that's effing Joe the plumber. And that caught my attention. I said, yeah, I'm Joe the plumber, what's up? I've been beat before, I can get beat again. And eventually, long story short, I got 3 hunting trips and 2 fishing trips out of that crowd. I talked to them. If they disagree with me, they disagree with me. I don't care. But we're going to find that we have more in common than the media would want you to believe. They keep that pot stirred on a regular basis. They keep it stirred through racism. They keep it through the class warfare. It's a classic military strategy that politicians use and the media use, and that's divide and conquer. Go out and spread it, and like I said, it ain't. I told Glenn Beck and O'Reilly, I said, you guys went on the 2 Rich White Guys tour. Me and Joe ain't going on that one. But our message is just as important. And you know what? I wouldn't care if there's 5,000 people or the number of people here. Quite frankly, I love this size of a group because you guys are warriors. You're here. Other people out there waiting on us to save the country. So I applaud you. Somewhat overwhelming, really, just to be and knowing that these kind of people were there, trying to, essentially doing what Kevin and I think, are trying to do, and a lot of other Tea Party members, a lot of Americans are out there doing, and that's, awakening the revolution that needs to take place in this country. And what I mean by revolution, I don't mean guns and knives. I mean education, getting informed, getting busy, fulfilling your civic duty, your American responsibility to be involved and to be educated. Did I say educated? I mean educated, actually.
So, be sure to check out 2 Nekkid Heads. That's the number 2, nekkidheads.com. And we appreciate Media Research Center for all that they do and for following us here in Richmond, Virginia.